The Elden Ring DLC is rumored to come very soon. With this information, more and more new players can be found starting into the game. And for a beginner, the game can be quite tough, knowing that From Software had always been a tough Asian parent at telling you where to go or what to do. And so today, we'll be talking about an early to late game build that can probably help beat the game on a timely fashion. Or at least I hope so. The Wizard or Spellcaster build is probably one of the strongest builds in Elden Ring. And for good reason, of course. The damage of spells in this game tends to be extremely bloated, and not to mention, most boss attacks in the game are close-ranged. Being able to deal damage from a distance can come a long way to make difficult fights a lot easier. However, most spells can be tough to find, and the start of a wizard's journey can be quite confusing for a beginner. And so, for this video, we'll be going through the early game towards the point where you would have pretty much everything you need to beat the game. To start, we choose to use the Astrologer class, as it's got a really good starting spell and pretty much the best starting kit a wizard could possibly ask for. Afterwards, we'll go towards the Gate from Grace to unlock Torrent, or your pretty much a double jumping reindeer horse. They'll pretty much be your taxi. Afterwards, you'll go back to the Church of Ele to obtain the Summoning Bell, and then to Stormhill to receive the Jellyfish Summon. And the reason that we are going for the Jellyfish is to give ourselves a meat shield that's tanky enough to withstand attacks early on and take aggro away from us, so that we can freely cast spells from a distance. However, if like me and you hate using summons, you can skip this process. Continuing along, we will proceed to acquire arguably the best wizard weapon for the early game that will be your companion until around mid-game. And for that, we first have to go to the Dragonburnt Ruins, in which you can find here is a chest, in which after you open it, you will be teleported to the Celia Crystal Mines in Caelid. And from here, we'll just have to go outside and follow me. This'll help quicken the journey, as without being teleported here, you'll have to walk a very far distance away from Limgrave to reach this area. And from here on out, all you need to do is follow me, and I'll show you where to get the rock sling and the meteorite staff. The Meteorite Staff is the strongest early game staff that you could possibly wield for now, until around the mid-game portion of the game, as it's got an exceptionally high ass scaling for intelligence to pair with this weapon. To add further, it's also got a special ability, in which it boosts the damage of gravity-type spells. A perfect fit for the Rock Sling spell that we just got. Now, the Rock Sling spell, on the other hand, unlike most of the spells that deal magical damage, instead deals physical damage. It's extremely important, especially when you need to fight enemies that has high magic resistance. For example, Renala. It's gonna be a boss that you will encounter not too far into the game. The spell also has good posture damage, which can help you stagger bosses after only about 4 or 5 casts. Now, the setup is pretty much good enough by itself, and will carry you throughout the game. However, if like me, you prefer going melee than to play ranged, here's how to get a really good melee range spell. First, teleport back to first step side of Grace and follow this route. Now, we need to find someone who can actually use the scroll and sell the spell to us. And the closest one from our location right now would be Carian. And for that, follow me. This fight is mandatory for you to actually access Carian, so be sure to do what I do here and strafe around him by using your glintstone pebble. And you should be able to beat this boss relatively quickly. The only reason to why I died here on the first time was because I was been playing too much Monster Hunter and I kinda messed up my controls. Once the Mad Pumpkin has been defeated, now you can actually go inside the gate and talk to Carian. In here you can actually give her the scroll and she will sell you the spell for a Carian Slicer. Now, if you forgot, I did ask you to get some runes from the graves. And if you did what I just told you, you should have enough runes to actually level up twice to use the spell and to actually get enough runes to level up twice to actually, well, wield the meteorite staff. The Carian Slicer is an extremely powerful melee type spell that deals incredible damage, at the cost of it being, well, pretty much point blank range. But that's pretty much all there is, as the spell itself is still arguably one of the highest damage spells in the whole game, even until the point of late game. So, I do suggest that you try it out if it interests you. However, for now, let us do some boss fights. At least the early ones, to give you a taste of what it's like to fight the boss with the current stats and the current stuff that you get from this video. Enjoy! Now, with all the steps done, you've pretty much obtained everything you could possibly need to beat the game altogether. However, if you want to get a pretty good alternative weapon later on, I can recommend that you get yourself the Carian Regal Scepter, after beating Renala in Raya Lucaria. Once upgraded enough, it will outdamage the meteorite staff by a good amount. The only downside is, it requires an extremely high intelligence to wield. To be more precise, 60. Stats that you unfortunately will not have until a lot more into the game. However, I suggest to not worry about it, as the staff that you're currently using is more than enough to hold its own weight for the time being. With that being said, that's it from me, and I hope that you guys had a good fun and learned something new on this video. If you still want to stick around, I suggest checking out my challenge runs videos, and as always, that's it from me. And have a good one, guys.